The crocodile. Okay, so in this video is the start of my new animal spirit series. That's what I'm going to call it at the moment. And what I do is I sit in meditation and I call upon the animal spirits and I ask one to come forward to give me a message to share. And well, to my surprise, crocodile came slithering up. So that's what I'm doing. So how this is going to look like is that I'm just going to share a couple of facts about a crocodile, and so we can just kind of paint a picture about the whole animal itself, and then I'll go in and start delivering the message that I've received. Alright, let's get into it. So some things that I found that are interesting about crocodiles is that, crocodiles tend to be one of the oldest animals on the planet, so around the time of the dinosaurs. No surprise, right? They eat all forms of animal life, like mollusks and fish, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and mammals, and all that sorts of things, right? They also eat stones, and the stones are what grind the food down. And because of this, they can live for many, many months without even eating. So, it sounds like they're like masters at fasting. Crocodiles primarily live in solitude, but they are also the most social reptile. They usually gather around when it's time to hunt or when they're raising their hatchlings. They're one of the few reptiles that watch their young for the first year. Aww. And they carry their little young in their mouths. Sometimes they're right on their backs, little baby crocodiles, and are protecting from predators. Because also, other crocodiles may eat them too. Not family members, but other crocodiles. They also keep growing their whole entire life. They live up to around 30 to 40 or 70, 80 years or something like that. Imagine you just don't stop growing. So the saltwater crocodile, which lives in Australia, is one of the largest species of crocodiles on the planet, and they can grow up to 20 feet long, and they can weigh up to a whole ton. A ton. That's a lot. This is what I found was really interesting about crocodiles, is they have the strongest bite out of any animal on the planet, with a chomping power of up to 3,700 psi. That's pounds per inch. That's a lot. However, the muscles in their jaw for opening are very weak. And so, even a human can hold their jaw shut. They have night vision, and they can hear and smell very well. And they are nocturnal hunters. How deadly can you get than that? Wow. So they do not sweat, but they reduce heat by leaving their mouths open. And they often sleep with their mouths open. They do shed tears. Yes, they do. They do. Crocodiles do have crocodile tears. Yes, there is such a thing. But they don't cry from emotions, but instead they tear up from swallowing too much air when they eat. Imagine that. And then, of course, the obvious, right? What is the difference between a crocodile and an alligator? Well, primarily it's in their snout, right? So a crocodile has more of a pointed snout, while an alligator has more of a broad snout, a U-shaped snout. Now, this is kind of really confusing to me, someone who's visual, right? Because wouldn't you think A for alligator, pointed snout, C for crocodile, broad snout, but just remember that, but then become dyslexic and just say A for crocodile and C for alligator. Yeah, it's confusing. So just remember that. Okay. Now, let's go a little bit more serious here, right? So let's go into more of the spiritual realm, right? So we touched on the science, so now we're going to get on the spirit, right? And so the reason why I did crocodile is because I went into meditation. I asked spirit animal to come forward, right? And all of a sudden, the slithery little animal came to me. It was a little lizard, but then as it got closer, it was crocodile, and he came in and he bumped his nose right in my face. And I was like, whoa, dude, back off a little bit. All right, what do you have to share with me, right? And so some of the things he had to share with me was history, right? So it's like, what does that mean? As such an ancient creature, so maybe as a message is to think about, I like to go introspect, so that's what spirituality is introspection, right? So think about, what is your history? Where do you come from? Who are you? What are you? You know what I'm saying? Go back and reflect back on your life. Why are you the way you are? Why do you behave the way you do? Why are you you? Really. So look in your history. Some other stuff Alligator wanted to share with me patience. As you can see, that they're hunters, and hunters are very patient. So they sit and they wait, but they're active though. They're always on alert. They're paying attention. So maybe at this time, we're in this pandemic, April of 2020. So we're in this pandemic here. So right now, a lot of us are writing it out. The world has definitely, at a physically social level, we have slowed down. So this is a good time to be patient, because a lot of the grind has came to a stop, and things are shifting, things are changing. So patience always seems to be a very strong quality that we can all start practicing. Patience with the people around us, patience with ourselves, with the chores around us, with things that are going to get better, things like that. Don't need to sit in impatience. Another thing is strength. Crocodile wanted to tell me about strength, being strong, right? Maybe we can say that strength can represent what makes you strong. What is your strength? What is your power, right? What ability do you have? And just be mindful that sometimes gifts and abilities, they aren't always something physical. Sometimes they're not skills that are so easily measurable, right? They're not so academic. They're not so comparative in a way. But they could also be, more on the emotional sense. Like, are you really gifted at being a really good listener, for example? Or are you gifted at being very open-hearted, open-minded? Are you gifted at being very calm in situations? Are you gifted at being a very supportive person? So you can also tie into your gifts, and your strengths could be into more of an emotional base as well, or a mental based. You're good at retaining information, delivering information, knowing to say the right things, being like compassionate, things like that. And another one that Crocodile really, really wanted to share with me, his jaw. He wanted to show me his bite, his big mouth, and I don't know, maybe that was a personal thing for me. It was like, hey, be mindful of what you eat, Oh, maybe it's just that. Maybe be mindful of what you eat. Be mindful of how much you chew. Do you bite off more than you can chew? I mean, that's what an alligator does, right? Because it doesn't chew, it just swallows. So, maybe I gotta learn that myself. Maybe sometimes I have to learn to take projects and activities in smaller quantities so I can finish them. I don't know. But maybe some of you can relate to that. And so, the last thing I asked Crocodile, give me one message you can share. He said hero. Hero? Like, that's pretty far-fetched. So, I have to meditate on that a little bit. But hero, like, what is hero to you? What is a hero? What defines a hero? For me personally, I always see heroes as an individual of inspiration. There's like the everyday hero. I believe that anybody can be a hero. It's just that it's having that person being in your life at the moment that does something or inspires something within you to create a revelation to have you move forward or advance in your life and your well-being, one example that just is in my head right now is like someone being very, very depressed, right? And you can have somebody come by and just chat with them, give them a sandwich or something, for example. And then that simple act right there of kindness, of compassion, was able to get that person in this deep depression that was maybe considering suicide or whatever, has shifted. That was the shift right there inside of them. And they saw something new in humanity in themselves that brought them out of that stage and moved forward. And even though that person, may they know their name or not, has become a hero because it inspired them from taking a different path in their choice of life. Not everything has to be the superhero where you're flying with a cape, and you're shooting laser beams out of your eyes or something. So, meditate on what's a hero to you? Is there anybody in your life that you've experienced that has inspired you or has moved you in a way that has evolved you. Just think about that. Alright, I'm going to close here. So that's the end of my spiritual messages that I've received from Crocodile. Okay, let's end this. With so much seriousness in this video, we need a little bit of humor. Aha. Alright, here's a joke for you guys. Ready? Crocodiles can grow up to 20 feet. But most just have 4. Why should you never play poker with a crocodile? Because you will lose every hand. Okay guys, now how do you tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? Well, one will see you later and the other in a while. Oh, that's the end of this. Till next time guys, thank you.